diskussjoni oħra, l-għaliex, illum ħad diskutu l-AI. U magħna terġonna l-Carlos Debattista, grazzi Carlos li għat magħna.
Thank you.
Kif ukoll Max Aiuppa jgħat magħna wkoll.
Thank you.
Grazzi li għaxbok tkun magħna biex niddiskutu da suġġett illum ukoll.
U għażilna daw it-tnejn vera għax Max huwa CTO ta' kumpanija u anke li jaħdem fl-AI mill-2018, jiġifieri għandu esperjenza vasta, jiena kelli x-xorti nagħmel ħafna proġetti miegħu u huwa bniedem li anke issa tinduna meta jitkellem appassjonat immens fuq l-AI. Minna l-oħra Carlos huwa direttur ta' Take-Two, huwa scriptwriter u anke direttur u wieħed mill-industri li ħajintlaqtu bl-AI u anke l-mod kif ħaresu l-AI u l-kreattività naħseb jiena ħajkonna konverzazzjoni li ħanħarsu li għamilna aspetti differenti.
Ħadet il-qom l-ewwel bil-diskussjoni tagħna, il-mistoqsija ħaddiskutu llum għaliex in-nies jibżgħu mill-AI.
Okay. Min jibda?
Nibdew billi ngħidu x'inhu AI, għax naħseb jien hemm min li forsi AI għadu ma fimx daqshekk Max, ma nafx tispjegalna ftit.
I'll try to explain it in the simplest term. AI is a prediction model. What it does, it gets an input that could be text, could be a photo, could be a video, could be anything, even music. And converts that input in a concept, like our brain does. When you look at a dog, you don't read the text of a dog, you will understand the concept of what a dog is. Mm-hmm. The concept of the color, the concept of the height, the size, and so on. After getting that, and it's converted, it passes through a neural network, and the output is a prediction of what you want to see, what you want to hear. Okay. So, and it's a prediction between 1 and 10. So the best AIs will give you the higher prediction score, and AIs that are not that great or they're not trained as best as the others, they will give you a lower prediction score. But they will always try to please you. They always try to give you an answer.
Ġifieri jgħidu l-artificial intelligence għax jisu għandek magna li taħseb għal anfisha.
Yes, it's a simulation of human intelligence. But at the beginning, when I started looking into AI, I thought it was more connected to knowledge. Maybe just AI knows everything. But what you can see now, especially with these large models and high computation power, that actually has the potential and the creativity to solve complex problems. Like...
Aħna l-mistoqsija bdejna mill-ewwel mistoqsija għal xiex in-nies jibżgħu għaliex jibżgħu mill-AI. Però jien nixtieq immorru naqra żgħira lura wkoll. Ħafna drabi qisna narani aħna qegħdin f'soċjetà li qed nistennew li ħadd tiġri xi ħaġa, qed nibżgħu minn xi ħaġa tiġri meta naħseb fil-verità. Kważi fil-ħajja ta' kuljum, kważi f'kull ħaġa l-AI diġà qed hemmhekk. Ġifieri nagħtu eżempji fiex diġà qed nużaw l-AI.
First of all, I don't think people are excited enough or scared enough. I think there's not much awareness of what's going on.
I think they haven't yet realized how far it's already come. So I think that people think we're at stage 3 when in fact the truth is that we're already at stage 8 or 9. And as you're saying, I think it's becoming more and more accurate as time goes on, because you said it's a prediction model. Can I speak in English? All right, because I feel more comfortable speaking in English about this topic. I don't know why. Anyway, so it's a prediction model, but from what we're seeing, let's take the most obvious thing, ChatGPT, right? Because I'm sure that when you talk about AI, at least in my industry, when you talk to me about AI, the first thing I'm going to tell you is ChatGPT, because it's out there. We know it's out there. We're play testing it, if you can call it that. And from the first models that came out to what we're using now and what's coming soon, it's freaking incredible, bro. It's freaking incredible. Yes, it's very interesting. But the question you're asking is whether people are afraid of AI.
U qed naħseb ukoll inti semmejt l-industrija tiegħek. L-industrija tiegħek hija industrija li qed tiġi milquta.
Le, l-industrija tiegħi ħadd tiġi barra minn Malta ġan tlaqtet ħafna, ġifieri u għalissa Malta għadda ma qabdiċ għax naħseb in-nies kif qal Joseph and Max, yeah? Right. Max, in-nies għadhom. You're okay if I speak in Maltese? 100%?
Sure.
Okay.
I will stop you if I don't understand.
Just stop.
I will try.
All right. Because I'm finding it really difficult knowing that you're here.
I've been here for 12 years. It's my responsibility.
So you've been Maltese.
Yes, I'll do my best. It's just I don't have the confidence.
La jien naħseb in-nies kif qal Max għadhom ma rrealizzawx x'inhi dil-ħaġa u x'l-impatt li ħajkollha. Issa fl-industrija tagħna aħna qisna l-frontliners. Għax ovvjament il-kittib kif għatlek fid-diskussjoni tagħna jiena nużah ChatGPT. Ma nużax biex nikteb, nużaħ biex nirriċerka. Fejn qabel jiena biex nikteb biċċa xogħol. Qed nirriċerka rid immur il-librerija, rid noqgħod naqra, rid jew mmur fuq l-internet. Ejja għax issa dik il-librerija għaddit li għaddit. Imma mmur fuq l-internet u nibda nfittex ħafna x'ismu, immur fuq ChatGPT, ngħidlu sma' bro, ngħidlu rid nikteb din il-storja fuq dan is-suġġett, dal-karattru hekk, dal-karattru hekk, dal-karattru hekk. Tini permutations ta' sitwazzjoni. It goes deeper than that. But when it comes to the finished product, irrid nikteb l-istorja għadu mhux hemm. Forget it.
Però jista' jkun li naslu sem.
Ħanaslu sem żgur. Jiena naħseb the keyword u dejjem ngħidha fuq AI is for now. Whatever you say with AI is for now.
Ma tinkwetakx, mhijiex xi ħaġa li taf inti li fi żmien ftit xhur jiena flok inqabbad lilek nistaqbad.
Imma ħanajdlek tinkwetak, issa ngħidu tinkwetak u ma tinkwetakx. I mean, jiena meta kont żgħir studjajt business school, and one of the things that is vera il-bażi ta' kollox fil-business school hija titkun lesta l-bidla, titkun lesta l-evoluzzjoni ta' prodott, tal-market, ta' kollu. Ma tista' tirrabja, tista' toqgħod tibki, tista' tmur ġorokna u tiddispra. Il-bidla ġejja. Issa ħadd titgħallem tuża jew le. Qed tifhem jiena tnażel biex ngħid iva hija nużawha. Però jiena kif għatlek fil-diskussjoni, għax jiena meta ċempilli Joseph għalli biex tiġi diskuti kontra l-AI, kien mhix kontra l-AI, assolutament. Jiena l-biża' tiegħi mhux l-AI, il-biża' tiegħi minħalqu l-AI. Il-biża' tiegħi hija li aħna bħala kreatura, il-bniedem, ma naħsibx li aħna maturi biżejjed biex ikollna biċċodda bħal din fidejna u we take it to the power of 1,000 at the rate we're taking it. I mean, we know that this thing is learning. Din għara Elon Musk ma t-tixin, u naħseb Elon Musk at this stage, kemm huwa brillanti u ġenjali bħala bniedem, he is the older generation of geniuses playing with this game. So I see it in my game. Today I'm in my 50s. When I was coming into the writing game and the production game in Malta in my 20s, I was cutting edge. I was. My ideas were incredible, and that is why what happened in Malta with our ideas. Today, I'm seeing younger people coming up. Their ideas there are some brilliant ideas out there. So what I'm trying to say is, when Elon Musk says something like, we know that AI is learning, but we don't know how it's learning and how fast it's learning, it's worrying. But how much... I'm sure that he's at the very forefront of the game, but I'm also sure that there are other people who are as much at the forefront of the game as he is, with fresher ideas or crazier ideas or far less mature ideas, and that is the scary part.
Infatti jiena sibt riċerka li tajt li storikament teknoloġiji ġodda dejjem ġabu magħhom biża'. Speċjalment biża' li ħajintilef ix-xogħol ta' xi ċertu ħaddiema.
Yes.
Max?
I'm going to start with this. Once I read on Instagram a nice post of a woman said, I was expecting advancement technology AI to do the dishes for me, to clean the kitchen, to take care of my house, do all the things I want to do, all the nuisance that my life, it's full about, so that I can focus on creating. But now the AI is creating,
Yes,
and I'm
yes,
back
yes.
to actually
Washing
do
the
dishes.
dishes.
Washing the dishes.
For now.
So that was the biggest impact, I think, that creative people and the creative industry have seen, because you wouldn't have expected technology to become so good at creating things that weren't there. In Italy, when I was little, I heard this, I don't know if it's a proverb, but it says, if you copy from one, it's plagiarism. If you copy from many, it's art.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I heard it, and when I was little, I was like, yeah, actually it makes sense. And this is what we do as human when we want to create something new. We have inspirations from a lot of different sources. Then we put something of ours, some feelings, we combine them together, and then we give something that is meaningful.
Yeah.
But AI, since it's a prediction model, we realize that the best thing it does is creating things that weren't there. The first AI that started many years ago used to create images which looked like an LSD trip. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They used to create by Google DeepMind. Is one there, and that was the first time that computer created images, and they looked surreal. But you could see a bit of a picture of the face of a dog, the face of a cat, and images popping up in these colors and so on. Now, with this new architecture and the advancement, it became so good that you train them with pictures of everything. You classify the picture. This is a blue bird on a tree, talking to something else or doing something else, and the AI will be able to reproduce with accuracy
the bluebird on a
the
tree.
bluebird, but
And that will give you
but
like
in the
1,000
style of Rembrandt.
versions of the bluebird on a
But
tree.
you can say, listen, I want the bluebird on a tree in the style of Van Gogh.
Exactly, yes.
And
I'm aware of that.
And this style is a concept. The bird is a concept. The blue is a concept. It's combining things together, and it's gonna give you an amazing output. That if you have to do it yourself as a creative person, it will take you a lot of knowledge, a lot of time, and it's
Yes,
impressive.
of course. Can I join in?
Of
Okay,
course.
I understand, and it does. I mean, me as a writer, as a writer and as an artist, it is quite scary, because yes, okay, I'm looking at a situation where now. So, before in a situation we have good writers, great writers, and what we would call the real artists, the geniuses, right? But now it levels the playing field a lot. Okay, issa. I don't want to panic because I don't like panicking. Plus, I'm a bit like this is real. If I was in my 20s, I'd be probably terrified. Now that I'm in my 50s, I'm saying, okay, now I'm in my 50s. This is gonna change. It's not my playing field for much longer. Okay, and I'm in that situation right now where I'm thinking to myself, maybe I want to try something else in life, who knows? So anka l-istadju fejqjat f'ħajtek ħatafetwak.
Ma għajja nimmaġina allura Carlos 20 sena. Għalfej jibda inkwiet, għax mistoqsija hija għalfej nis jibżaw mill-ar.
Le, ħajin naħseb Carlos 20 sena kieku mhux ħajażel ikun kittib, at this point.
Bħal mettajt issa xorta li you're on your way out.
We are. I mean, right now, it's not good enough to mimic the top product that you can write. The human is still very there, but any human with a good brain who is not a writer but can understand story, eventually within the next, I'm not very tech savvy, but I'm not into science. I'm into science fiction. So I can make the prediction, but I can't go into the technology. But I say within a year and a half, maybe problem off, probably even sooner than that. I don't know. So anyone who knows story can go into this ChatGPT and actually write a great story just by tweaking. Okay, yes, this is good, but I need more input of talk about. I need more. For example, you have a character. You're building a character, and you tell him what is his central trauma, and you deal with his central trauma, and then. Tell him, okay, now give me a story with this character. You give him the general plot line, you give him the antagonist, the moral guiding voice, various characters. But then you tell him, okay, you know what, this is good, but I want him to be more affected by his mother having done that and the parent. And within it gives it to you. Issa, that's only one thing. Until recently I thought that, okay, writers are out, but directors are in. Not even directors are in. I've been doing some research since we spoke, because
Bezzajtek, ma lejn.
Mux bezzajt, niftaħt li għajni għadaq xie iktar.
Jina għatta sijat sħax nitkellem ma' Max fuq da suġġetti li ħanżit ma li għattajt inti l-imbat, ejna għedu għetna jina dil-istoria. Tajjeb, nista intija l-AI prodottiħor, korreġini Max, u najdlu issa mill-li film minna.
Yes,
issa jien nista najdlu għamela ambientata t-Tunezija jitkellmu bl-Arbi. Umbat nista najdlu issa għamela f'New York, u jitkellmu bl-Amerikan.
Yes.
Allura, l-AI ħadu post li skriptajta id-direttur u l-atturi.
Ġettu post, imma il-biza tal-AI kifet, u dik jena dini, dik li għet naħsbu aħna li AI hija perikoluza, sewa, it is the tip of the iceberg. That is not the real danger. The real danger mux li we use our jobs. Okay, we'll lose our jobs, we have to evolve. But what is going to be the effect on humanity being turned into a redundant creature, not knowing what to do with our time? We know how great we are when
Yes.
we're bored and we have nothing to do with our time. You know, where are we going to go as a species?
Jekk forse morru lura narġaw għal-Matthew, għal dik eżatt. Qed li t-teknoloġija ġdida dejjem ġabet li nisħajt il-fuxxol tagħhom u l-AI ħajġri l-istess ħaġa, ħajkun hemm ċertu xogħlijiet li ħajspiċċaw ukoll. Taqblu magħha u apparti minn hekk dak li semmejt inti, taħseb li l-istess ħaġa ġrat jinnaf meta qed jiġu vvintat il-computer.
Nistaj xi ħaġa żgħira. Because I read this, right, about the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution ushered in mechanized warfare. The Industrial Revolution ushered in a time in a war you'd lose hundreds of thousands to suddenly losing millions. World War I, World War II. So if you're telling me that the Industrial Revolution wasn't something freaking scary, of course it was. We adapted. Of course we adapted. But the problem is this. We are creating a creature that is, and it is a creature. I mean, you know, when you say artificial intelligence, you tell me it's a machine. Yeah, but...
Ma jista' jkun l-istess ħaġa kienet tidher l-istess meta kien qed jiġu vvintat il-computers, Carlos.
Probabilment iva.
Forsi dak li ħsibna dak iż-żmien ma ġarax laqas.
Ħanajdlek, il-problema mhux il-computers, bro. Il-problema min krejhom. Mela, if I can go on, it's already there. You know when I'm browsing internet, when I'm browsing social media, internet, YouTube, and I see a clip even now, my first reaction is that, but this is real? Nah, this is not real. This is faked. Now imagine you have something like that, and where you can fake it to such a degree, it's impossible to tell. And it's in the hands of anyone, not just corrupt world leaders, and we know how brilliant the world leaders that are coming along now are, how trustworthy and how incredibly morally upstanding they are. We all know it, right? Yes. Now imagine this technology in their hands. They can make you believe what the hell they want. But even on something very simple, imagine you, very simple, right? Because this technology is in the hands of kids. So imagine you're dating a girl and I want her. And I want to ruin your relationship. Something simple like that. And I sent her a video of you with another woman doing crazy things. You make it.
Yes.
And I know, that's what I'm saying. I know, it's terrifying. Yeah, and if you're wise enough, you can cheatily make it fuzzy enough, if there is a special enough, a blemish on the skin that you can recognize the person from, it's not there but you can't, and you've ruined the relationship. Now this is something very basic. The problem is not the AI. You know, I'm not scared. If I was to be in a very crazy doomsday scenario, I would say I'm not afraid of the machine taking over. The machine taking over is our only hope. Because frankly, we cannot handle this. We are not mature enough as a species to handle much less than this.
Do you remember Photoshop when it came out?
Yes, bro.
And people started thinking,
yes.
Oh, but everyone started doubting, but do you Photoshopped?
Yeah.
This is Photoshop.
This is Photoshop, yeah.
It's very similar because technology comes up with tools to make your life simpler, to make things faster and better. And it's how people use them at the end of the day that makes a difference. So, but what happened with Photoshop? Now, every time you look at an image, you have different filters. You don't always immediately think this top model is perfectly, that's her skin, this is the hair and the body and so on. You will start thinking, maybe there is some retouching, because now retouching is normal. It's socially accepted. Yes. So you expect a production studio to do some retouching after.
Yes.
And this might happen as well with AI.
Yes.
That every time we look at a media or content, we filter it 3 times. And we start thinking, that's what I do, for example. I go on social media and I start always that this is fake. Then I do some deduction, I do some research if I'm interested about the subject to realize if it's fake or not. Because once I see it on multiple channels and sources, then I say, okay, I can trust this content. But this started earlier with fake news, Photoshop. So manipulating of reality has been there for ages.
Naħseb imur qabel, gazzetti, stazzjonijiet ta' television.
Propaganda, that's how politics was done, propaganda.
Il-meetings ġol pjazza tar-raħal fej mur xaħat jaf jitkellem u jista' jbella ċertu ideat lin-nies.
Fake news started.
I know, but now the problem, of course, fake news started a long time ago, and it's still here. But now it's going to become so easy Because
for everyone.
Yeah, because you're talking about papers. Okay, yes, there was fake news, but back then there were entities that were savvy in the topic, in the subject, and they were actually manipulating you. And you had a choice. But now it's going to be so ubiquitous to our culture. I mean, we're already living on our mobiles.
But this means that we need to upgrade our defense mechanisms
Yes.
as humans. So we need to become smarter. And if we don't want to end up like all the people on social media putting 100,000 likes of the picture of a huge spaghetti plate made in Naples because AI built it and then you have hundreds, thousands of likes.
Yes.
I mean, you need to go a step further, which is, as a human, I need to be able to recognize, and this is something they should start teaching. Not only
100%.
because people like us that were more technology savvy, I think we learn it through experience. But a lot of people that are on social media don't even know. I see hundreds, thousands of shares on things that are fake.
So what you are saying basically, because you just said it, a lot of people who are on social media don't know. So again, this is what worries me about AI. And you said it yourself. Because people don't know, but they're still consuming it. What can be the effect of this thing moving so fast that we can't keep up? Not you or
Everyone else.
Or us that are interested and take the time to research and the time to get to know things. But there's a whole population out there of people that just take it all in and they just don't question certain things.
Ma dak mhux l-istess nies li jekk xi ħadd jgħid li dal-bottat ta' dam huwa l-aħjar wieħed ħajxruh. Meta mbagħad hemm nies oħrajn li ħajjaqraw fuq il-bottat ta' dam u ħajażlu eżatt il-bottat ta' dam, jiġifieri qed nitkellmu fuq prodott, fuq idea. Inti għandek xi ħadd li huwa b'saħħtu qed imexxi dik il-kelma, llum il-ġurnata jekk naħarsu marketing li jekk inti tilbes dik id-ditta tal-arloġġ jew dik id-ditta ta' karozza, inti għamilt suċċess f'ħajtek jew inti ħad tkun kuntent.
Eżatt.
Issa hemm il-maġġoranza li ħajjemnuh imorru jixtruh, bad hemm dawk li jgħidu żomm waħda, isma' dal-prodott jiswa dal-flus ħabba propaganda jew għax vera
ta' inti stess hemm il-maġġoranza. Il-problema l-maġġoranza. Il-problema mhux nies li jafu jaħsbu li jirraġunaw u jieħdu l-ħin biex jirriċerkaw u jgħidu stat. Il-problema li hemm massa enormi ta' nies illi jekk tgħidilhom sorta jgħidhom jekk xi ħadd ta' ċertu influenza f'ħajjithom, ma rridx nidħol f'ċerta affarijiet, jgħidulhom di hamburger. Di hamburger. Issa, meta jkollok dik it-teknoloġija u ngħidu kif inhi, ġeneralment mhumiex in-nies ta' rida tajba li ħaj exploitjaw ċerta affarijiet to the full, huma nies li għandhom motivazzjoni differenti, tista' tkun finanzjarja, tista' tkun politika, tista' tkun
scams, phishing.
Scams, exactly.
It's everywhere.
It's crazy.
They can copy the voice of your mother.
I know, bro. I've
They
researched
send you,
it.
listen, I'm in an accident. I need 1,000 euro
Yes.
to pay this
Yeah.
immediately, and people.
And you've
fall for
had it, man. And they can even go worse than that if they're really good at what they're doing. Much only they copy, they send you the video, they send you the video, then they find a way to get into the system of your mother's phone. And if she's calling you, she's calling him. And suddenly you've had it.
Jien hemm xi ħaġa oħra li tinkwatani wkoll. Qed ngħidu anke recording jistgħu jieħdu vuċi tomma pereżempju u letteralment tkun ma tindunax li hija xi ħaġa magħmula minn AI. Video qed nimxu hemmhekk ukoll. Issa jista' jkun li di tintuża wkoll bil-kontra li inti kważi qas jista' jkollok provi ta' xejn għax tista' tinnega, tiċħad u tibda tgħid li isma' dik hija magħmula b'AI. Ġifieri nistgħu naslu f'dak il-punt ukoll.
Max, inti esperta li ġew tajjeb. X'aħseb minn da kollu? U wieħed kif għandu jibda mill-lum jipproteġi nifsu milli jiġi jitħaq bih xi ħadd minħabba AI.
I think the responsibility, it's educational, and the government should take a stand to start introducing this kind of technology education, but not how to use technology. It's how to use it safely and how to understand it so that it's not scary anymore. Because a lot of people are scared of what they don't know. And sometimes that's why for me it's easier not to be scared because I know what's working behind the scenes. I know the work is okay. I know the limitation. I know the problems we have today. I keep updated. I make sure that if there is a danger for anything around me, I will know before anyone. around me so that I can sort of disclose the information. But it's a responsibility from people who know what's going on, responsibility from the government to take care of implementing measures to recognize fake content. And this started before AI. The fact that a lot of people started this conspiracy theories on fake produced content that created a lot of groups and social media commotion. I still think it's a government responsibility to make sure that these things don't thrive. So yeah.
Imma nafu ħafna fuq gvernijiet, tajjeb, mhux ta' Malta biss, ta' dinja kollha. Ġvina l-idea tagħna hawnhekk huwa li dejjem min qed jisma'na u x'jista' jagħmelu. Jiġifieri il-gvern iva forsi mit-sena oħra jibda jagħmel xi ħaġa fuqha, mhux il-gvern Malti, il-gvernijiet, però min qed jisma'na llum x'xi tħoss li jista' jagħmel. Mux kulħadd għandu ċans bħalek li fil-ħodju l-kafe u jaqla sezzijat fuq AI.
That's what I like to do. I wake up in the morning, I switch on YouTube, not even TV, because I don't watch TV anymore. There's so much content which is fresh and constantly available on YouTube that YouTube knows what I like, knows what I'm following. I get my cup of coffee and I watch. Yet 2 hours ago we discovered this. 3 hours ago there was a new white paper. So you're always at the forefront of what's going on. Then I can see the same news on NBC News or whatever after 1 week or two, because it takes time for the rest of the world then to assimilate. But there's a lot of good content. So what I suggest, obviously not to everyone go and start then watching YouTube, but start researching more a bit on what are the limitations and what is AI, what can do for me and what can do against me. For example, I'm gonna give my first impression that shook me when I actually used ChatGPT for my work, because I develop software. A lot of people see software as rocket science, which is not for who does it.
Yeah, of course.
But there's so many ways you can make it wrong and so many ways you can make it right that there's a lot of creative element to it. Yes. And this is why software developers express their creativity through building stuff. And for me, it was shocking where I asked AI to build this software for me or this function, and it came much better than I would have done it. Or people working with me would do it.
I can imagine, because
in a fraction of the time.
Oh.
In a fraction of the time.
Mhux hekk.
Mhux hekk, jiġifieri jekk inti kont tagħmel 10 sigħat, jiena ċert li jagħmilha f'inqas minn siegħa, eżempju.
But I had two choices. If I was a pessimistic person, like a lot of people do, okay, my job is done, we stop doing everything we have to do, and we sort of move aside until we die.
Yes.
But this is pessimism. But as an optimistic person, what I saw is an opportunity, because now, today, I use AI to do 30-40% of software development. It's more prompt engineering. You need to really explain what you want, and you need to use certain technique to make sure that it gives you the best information. And I can develop the software I used to take a month.
It's the same with us.
In 2 days.
In writing, you have to know the subject really well so that you can direct it and
you become an architect.
An architect. You don't need to be the writer. You have to be the storyteller. But you need to know the whole structure of what writing is all about. And I don't mean the language. I mean what builds a great story. The Campbell side of things.
That's a perfect explanation.
Normali li meta konna nixu fl-erjen u rajna animal ġdid. Min ħajfriża u dak ħajfriża biex ma jattakkax l-annimal u għax għadu ma jafx x'għandha tkun il-pass li jmiss. U ħafna drabi dak imbagħad ħajħares li jisħabu x'edin jagħmlu u ħajamel bħalu. Min ħajħarab jiġri u jibża mill-annimal, dawk huma nies li ħejreżistu u jgħidu ma rridx nisma' fuq AI, jekk hemm programm fuq AI ħajqilbulu, u hemm min ħajaffaċċjhom. U jiena nemmen li l-iktar nies li ħajadattaw malajr u ħajkollhom ħajja ħafna ħjar huma dawk li ħajaċċettaw li l-AI qed fostna, tajjeb jew libsin lilu, jew qed jaffettwana fil-karozza, fil-friġġ, qiegħed kullimkien. Kif ħajużaw ħall-ħjar tagħhom biex huma jgħixu ħajja ħafna ħjar. Però hemm ħafna riċerka fuq biża' u dali għadni kif ngħid isibu riċerkat kullimkien li meta hija xi ħaġa ġdida ħatibża minnha. Li hemm iktar biża' fuq AI u bagħad ir-riċerka tgħid li l-AI tant qed tinbidel brata maġla li kultant anke dak li qed imur jiġġieled, tant l-annimal qed jinbidel il-forma tiegħu il-ħin kollu li jaf toħloq anke fih sensazzjoni ta' biża' mhux ta' ġlieda ejja ħa niġġildulu, fimt?
Yes.
Tkellimna wis imma negattiv fuq l-AI, naħseb li hemm ħafna affarijiet pożittivi u benefiċjali il-fatt li semmejna l-verità li qed nużawha ħin kollu kuljum sempliċement anke biex ġejt hawnhekk dal-għodu. Leps u jgħidlek minn fejn ħajalli ta' ġifieri xi ħaġa vera sempliċi, imma nużawha kuljum u ħin kollu ma nafux ġifieri nemmen Max li hija xorta. Naħseb iktar hija ta' benefiċċju fil-verità.
I'm gonna start for my wish list because obviously for me the biggest benefit would be having the best healthcare possible to everyone, at a fraction of the cost obviously, and without being affected by personal motivation, being tired, understaffed, and so on. So if you heard AI right now can scan MRIs and scans for like X-rays and have a much higher accuracy than humans, because would you prefer to go to a doctor that has seen 1,000 patients in his life or a doctor that has seen 1 billion, 1 million, 10 million? Obviously, I don't think it's a work on its own. I mean, you don't just go to AI and listen, this is my symptoms, even if actually it's quite accurate. But combined to real doctors who are the architect, as we were discussing before, their workload will decrease. They can use their own studies and human creativity and feeling and I mean, the contact with the patient supported by an AI who doesn't make mistakes as much as humans do, and you get the best healthcare out of it. And this is one, personally.
Yeah.
Second, education. Nowadays, I used to say it before, just with internet and Google, most of the knowledge is available online. If you want to learn something, most of the things, obviously, that are not manual, you can go online and you find YouTube videos. You can, to be honest, I studied, but I learned software development in my room at 12, 13 years old on tutorials from a guy on YouTube. I mean, I don't think it was YouTube because at the time there wasn't, but anything that you want, you can learn it online. With AI, you have access to a teacher, not only content. Someone that, if you ever watched the video of the new GPT-4o voice model, it can actually, you can share the screen, you can do your homework, and it will teach you. It doesn't tell you the answer. Listen, it's going to guide you to learn so that you can next time can do it without the AI. So you have a private coach, private teacher. You can share your screen and just learn whatever you want. I mean, and this is free. The benefit is incredible, especially for countries which are undeveloped.
Jiġifieri ħajkun hemm min għandu assignment ħajmu ChatGPT, ħajħamel l-assignment biċ-ChatGPT. Pero dak huwa l-persuna li ħajsib ktieb ħajkopja minnu, ħajkopja minn ansieħbu. Mbagħad ħajkun hemm min bħalma bdejt tajt inti li jekk qed jikteb ktieb jekk qed jagħmel assignment, ħajuża l-AI biex jgħinu jifhem iktar is-suġġett brata iktar maġna biex jifhem.
Yes, as a coach mode, it won't give you the answer of what it says. Actually pushes you and asks you the question to arrive to like the Socratic way. But so you arrive to the conclusion yourself, and you will learn how to do it. And this is what they're trying to build, so that AI for education won't be an answer provider. It will be a coaching and teaching provider.
Like you have a teacher.
And this is a personalized education.
To get the
I mean, it's incredible.
I know.
And you can do it for free.
Eżempju, willingness fil-clinics tagħna li AI nużawh anka biex jallimna kif nirrispondu persuna, nużaw ħanka biex id-data kollha tal-klijenti kollha li qatt kellna f'dal aħħar 14-il sena jaqdilna l-informazzjoni u nistgħu naraw anka eżempju smet ninnutaw li l-irġiela tibatu iktar minn dil-problema. Jew nies li joqogħdu fis-Sawt jew fin-Nord li jkollhom iktar dil-problema. U hemmhekk tgħinek ukoll tifhem x'tip ta' problemi ta' saħħa mentali jista' jkun hemm fil-futur. Ġifieri l-AI hija xi ħaġa li jekk inti titgħallem tużaħħa u għalhekk nies bħal Max ħajjalmuk kif għandek tużaħħa. Tajjeb, hemmhekk tista' tgħix ħajja ħafna.
Jien anke naħseb li semmejt inti li essej llum tista' tmur essej tajt ChatGPT u jagħmlu. Imma naħseb ħanaslu f'punt li kulħadd ħajuża l-AI biex joħloqlu essej xi ħaġa, però naħseb il-mod kif inti direkt jagħmel AI x'ħadd tistaqsi. Hemmhekk ir-riżultat ħajkun differenti xorta. Għax dan nista' mmur ngħidlu isma' jrid essej fuq da suġġett ta' 2000 kelma u tani Pero kan kun naf intelligenti biżejjed u mhux intelligenti, il-mod li jena għandi ċertu knowledge, il-mod kif ħan nistaqsi l-AI biex jgħini, ir-riżultat ħajkun differenti u hemmhekk ħajder. Naħseb li xorta ħanbdew kumparaw l-riżultat, alright, użajna l-AI biex ħarġek ir-riżultat. Però hemm differenza bejn wieħed u ieħor għal mod kif uża l-AI. U hemmhekk turi xorta li hemm differenza bejn student u
Ħana ngħidlek xi ħaġa vera sempliċi. Naf jekk kienet naħdem fuq blog li qed nikteb jew jiena ktibtu mill-informazzjoni li għandi jiena mill-istudjajtu anka mill-riċerkajtu mill-esperjenza klinika tiegħi. Nitfa il-kidba tiegħi u tru ChatGPT u AI product oħra, ngħidlu isma' immaġina li qed nitkellem ma' espert tal-filosofija, espert tal-psikoloġija, ommi u tnejn minn nies oħra. U għen niddiskutu dan il-blog. U letteralment jibda joħloqlok konverzazzjoni bejn daw in-nies differenti, jien nengageja magħhom u bat il-blog ġajt rajtu wara dil konverzazzjoni li illum il-ġurnata għandi ħafna ħbib intelligenti bħalkom, però ma tkunux jien kollu available. Allura meta jgħid l-uffiċċju waħdi fid-disa ta' flaxija forsi qed ngħid isma' ħa nikteb blog għax għandi ftit nikteb fuq da suġġett. Ma nistax noqgħod inċempel jekk għandkom ismejja waħda sandi ħan niddiskutu. Ħloq di konverzazzjoni, il-blog ġejt ktibtu, rranġajtu u hemm barra meta ħriġtu nemmen u nixtieq naħseb li għamilt iktar ġitax proċessajtu b'mod li kieku moħħi biss ma kienx ħajproċessah b'dal mod.
Mela, naqbel ħafna magħkom, ġifieri jiena għattilkom mal-ewwel. I am all for AI. I love the technology, it's helping a lot. Hemm ħaġa oħra li vera interessanti fuq l-AI li l-AI ħatejna biex għandna għażla qudiemna, irridu inbidlu kollox mis-sistema edukattiva minn stadju verament żgħir biex nibdew intellaw ġenerazzjonijiet ta' nies illi jafu kif jużaw l-AI, kif jintegraw, kif ma jibżawx minnu, kif jaħdmu madwaru. Ħat tagħmel l-affarijiet kollha ħafna iktar fast fuq kull livell. You understanding me? Yeah? All right. Ħafna iktar fast. So AI per se hija ħaġa tajba ħafna. Imma ħanerġa' ngħidha. Jekk inti taqra l-istorja, u jien dejjem immura x'ina toġobna ħafna l-istorja. Jekk inti taqra l-istorja u tara kif il-bniedem jaħdem u javvanza u r-rata ta' kif jitgħallem il-bniedem, jien naħseb il-problema li ir-rata ta' kif qed niżviluppaw din it-teknoloġija tant hija fast u tant għad hemm nies hemm barra, il-massa tan-nies hemm barra għada mhix lesta li tintegra bir-rata li qed iġġelna ċoħe id-developers nintegrawha u vera qiegħda f'kollox naqbel magħkom 100%. I mean, jiena l-ewwel wieħed jien ngħix fuq il-mobile, ġifieri kif tafu ġejtaw bil-headphones, jiena at any given minute headphones u I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening to books, I read entire books kif għatlek. I'm always I love it. It's fantastic. Jiena ir-rata li qed nitgħallem illum ma kienx ir-rata li kont nitgħallem meta kelli fit-20s, kif għatlek l-ħar darba li titqgħod taqra ktieb u għandek ġimgħa għaddej fuq ktieb. Illum, I know within 2 days you're savvy enough on any subject to have a discussion. Obviously, you cannot go deep enough to actually, let's say, psychology. Okay, I am not a psychologist, not by far, but I understand enough. If we're going to have a discussion, ma noħroġ bħala tuba kompleta miegħek. Diverġet ngħidlek illi I can hold it. Issa, if I listen to 10 podcasts on psychology over a period of 2 weeks, yeah, I'm going to start getting what Jung said, what Freud said, you know, I'm going to get there. So it's an awesome technology. I think it's something incredible. But I think that we as a species, and I'm going to go to your example, because you use the example of when you're coming out of the cave and you're seeing an animal coming at you. The tragedy is this. The animal coming at you, kif għadt inti stess, can change over 5 seconds, can start being a bird, then it's a lion, then it's an eagle, then it's a freaking dinosaur. But the guy coming out of the cave is still the guy coming out of the cave. We haven't evolved. We're still the guy with the spear. Instead of a spear, we have a tank. But bro, if I'm seeing something coming at me that fast, and I'm not biologically and psychologically evolved enough to take it in at that rate, and the vast majority of people are not. All right?
Yes.
It's going to create a real problem. It's all right. Now we're talking about job loss. But job loss is the tip of the iceberg because, okay, imagine, l-aħħar darba, you gave me an example and I was stunned because I told you I'm not really that savvy on AI, but you told me something, he told me something about you create a question and then you want to discuss this question from a legal standpoint.
Yes.
And so you bring in the lawyer. That stunned me. And then, okay, I want to discuss it from a psychological point. So again, the psychologist. And then I want to discuss it from a moral standpoint. Yes. So you bring in the philosopher. These three AI models. And then you tell them to discuss it. And you're just sitting there. And
look at them.
Yeah. So what you're saying, basically what you're saying to my mind, so, okay, crap. So within, a year, I don't need lawyers.
But there's a problem.
Yeah, that's my question.
There's one problem.
So this is where you come in to bridge my ignorance on the technology.
But you know what the problem is? It's called hallucination.
Go for it.
This is really the pain point, which is slowly will fade out. We were saying before that AI is such a good creative tool because it likes to create. I mean, it creates really well, and this is the problem with accuracy of information because when AI doesn't know something, instead of admitting it and say, sorry, I don't know about the subject, sometimes it comes up with an answer which looks real. Like if you ask them...
If you analyze it...
Għalek AI huwa raġel, fimt? Għax meta ma jafx. Meta ma jafx. Xorta ħib inta xaħġa.
Stop smiling. I can see the smile.
So it's a very interesting way because when we tried it in the past, sometimes you will ask a question, what is the mobile number of this Maltese person? It will come up. Obviously, we'll never know. With a Maltese number, which is fictitious. Yes. But you wouldn't question it unless you go and do fact-checking, you wouldn't know.
Melux provajnija jena menti. Provajnija fej tlabniħ xaħġa simili, un batatlu ma fil-verita di fittixta. U tal-ġenna xej għalli, le, skużani.
So you talk to him like a kid.
U għammetta mill-ewel vera bat l-screenshot.
Yes, and hallucination happens a lot in zero-shot communication with AI. Zero-shot means you ask a question, you get an answer.
Okay.
It's like someone asks you a question there and then you have to answer without thinking.
Okay.
Now, what they're doing to solve, there are a lot of different frameworks they're using. Chain of thoughts and other things. So you oblige the AI to think before actually speaking to you or talk with other agents because AI, you can give them a role, as he said before. You can tell you're the CTO of this company, you're the CEO, you're the project manager, you're the developer. Now build me an amazing software, social media. The product manager will do the research online, checks what the competition is. The CTO will check the budgets, make sure that we're sustainable and so on. So they will work together to achieve... When there is the collaboration between agents, the hallucination will be reduced because you have a supervisor level where you can tell, listen, don't trust everything that the developer does. They are supervising themselves. So we can have two agents, a software developer and a supervisor that does the review. The software developer makes a mistake, invents some code that doesn't exist, that doesn't work. The supervisor will check the code and say, that's wrong.
Flok ikun hemm jiena ngħidlu minti di ċċekkejta vera. U jgħidli le
Within the AI itself, there is...
Qabel ma jippreżenta ħalili, ċekkjaħħa miegħu
It's expensive now because AI costs its computation, but they are making it faster.
Exactly. Within 5 years, it will be
so the AI will be fact-checking itself. Yes. Now, OpenAI came up with Critique GPT, which is a new model which is checking for mistakes on their current model. So it's a constant fact-checking on what the answer they're giving you. And that creates what we are scared of, which is independent self-learning, which is like keep improving.
And so it's happening.
It's happening. I mean, we're still far away from having a model that trains itself.
Yes, I know.
But we're getting there. It's correcting itself.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So exactly, I know we're not there yet. Just like 10 years ago, we didn't have smartphones, or 12 years ago. Just like 120 or 30 years ago, we didn't even have the light bulb, bro. Do you know that?
True, actually.
That's 120. So we have... history is about 7,000 years old of history. So if you go back to human history, we know 7,000 years roughly from Mesopotamia till today. You know, we started writing. We've had the light bulb for the last 100 years. And look at where we are now. this thing is evolving so quickly, but we're not ready for it, man. We cannot.
Imma għalekkum bad.
So we have to redesign everything.
Psychology.
Everything.
Psychology.
Everything.
100%.
Everything.
Imma
Are we going to manage to do it at the rate? Are we going to manage to redesign ourselves as a thinking, living biological organism fast enough to keep up with the silicone-based organism that we are creating?
And loss of meaning that comes with it.
And the loss of meaning that
Because
comes
we're
with
useless now.
it. We're useless now, bro. We're useless
Sometimes,
now.
yeah, we do. So we
So
need
imagine
to
you
create ways.
So imagine you have. I know I should have experiences, but I got into the argument. Sorry about that. So imagine you have a whole population of people that are useless, that know that now they have no purpose other than to eat, procreate, because.
Tsib il-purpose ukoll.
But we have.
Jekk inti il-purpose iġġibu biss mix-xogħol. Hemmhekk hemm
100%.
Jekk inti il-purpose iġġibu mill-relazzjonijiet li fil-verità
Emmek għandu.
Snilu, konna u l-mġata riċerki ċara min jgħix liktar għax investi f'relazzjonijiet minnu liktar kontent.
100%.
L-AI ħati frankali ħafna ta' riċerka u ta' xogħol.
No,
Jien hemm
100%.
ċans naħdem ħinijiet inqas u ninvesti l-ħin tiegħi fuq innifsi u fuq ir-relazzjonijiet.
Għalhekk qed ngħidlek illi.
Good point.
That's why għalhekk qed ngħidlek illi irridu nirridiżinjaw is-soċjetà kompletament.
Charles Darwin tax kien jgħid, Charles Darwin ma kienx jgħid kultant in-nies jikwotaw ħażin li minnu l-iktar b'saħħtu isalva, għalhekk id-dinożawri għadhom ħajjin.
Mhux hekk.
Charles Darwin kien jgħid dawk li l-iktar li adattaw.
Eżatt, minnu l-iktar adaptable.
Huma dawk li ħajjexu. U fil-verità, anka fl-ispeċi tagħna l nipprovaw nħossuna
100%.
differenti mill-ġieden u mill-baqar fil-verità.
Naqbel
Aħna
miegħek.
speċi oħra min kapaċi joħloq konverzazzjonijiet bħal daw u jiddiskuti u jevolvi, tajjeb minn flok qed jirreżisti, għandu ċans aħjar li
Ħanerġgħu fuq l-istorja ma u naqbel miegħek 100%. Però waqt li dawk li huma lesti u kapaċi li jevolvu qed jevolvu. L-oħrajn li mhumiex qed jevolvu, li qegħdin imbeżżajn, li qed jiddispraw, li qed jitilfu x-xogħol, li ma jafux x'jaqbdu jagħmlu. Kemm taħseb li ħajdumu qabel ma joħroġ xi ħadd bandiera stramba jibda ċerta affarijiet ta' mibeda jiġru għandu qabel ma nafuha fuq l-Ewropa reġa' miżvastika pereżempju jew xi ħaġa simili. Malta nafuha di Malta. Malta sabiħax Malta huwa qisu il-mikrokozmu li turik il-makrokozmu. Għandna każ fejn persuna partikolari li qed tuża ħafna hate speech kontra l-immigranti, kontra.
Mhux Malta biss, l-Ewropa kollha hemm rajs tagħha.
Ngħid Malta, għax Malta jien meta ngħid Malta fiha daqshekk ukoll nafu xulxin ukoll qed tiġri illi daf daqqa waħda hemm qed jikber l-influenza tiegħu u nafu li qed jgħid ma sejħulhomx ċuċati, imma ngħidulhom ċuċati perikolużi ħafna u qed jaljena ħafna nies. Issa immaġina, veret, jiena aħna u naf ħafna nies bħalna ħan evolvu, iż-żar ħaj evolvu. Imma ċerta etajiet illi qabżu ċerta età, m'għandhomx il-viżjoni jew anke l-kapaċità jew anke il-make-up psikoloġiku biex jevolvu. U inti mhux qed tgħidilhom jevolvu, jiġifieri isma' llum ħadd tazza ilma għada hu tazza mbit, inti qed tirhom il-sandek tazz ilma għada hu barri. X'inhu? Ixrob bar, kif nixorbu barri? Inti battilhom il-perċezzjoni tal-eżistenza tagħhom u mhux għattilhom 1 + 1 = 2, 1 + 1 = 10,000. They're not gonna make it. Ħatibda hemm ħafna biża plus. U mbagħad hemm il-dimensjoni l-oħra illi hemm ħafna nies u dina tara kif tara anke llum anke Malta narawha. Nies li għandhom intenzjonijiet ħżiena li didlu t-teknoloġija ħajsfruttawha. They're gonna prey on these people. So again, ħanerġa' ngħidlek, AI is fantastic. I am all for it. Slow it down a bit, let's see where.
Jien xaqt inġib quotation ukoll, quote mhux quotation, xaqt inġib quote ta' nies li fil-snin ilu kienu jgħidu eżatt li attenti fuq il-kodba. Meta l-kodba bdew jiġu printed mhux miktubin fil-monasteri, kien hemm in-nies li bdew jikdbu jgħidu issa ħankisru u ħanħamġu moħħ iż-żgħażagħ tagħna ħibdew jaħsbu b'mod stramp U allura ħan nitilfuhom.
Dik dejjem issir.
Televiżjoni l-istess kien hawn kbir li t-televiżjoni ħajkisser l-nistana.
100%.
Jien nemmen ħafna li l-edukazzjoni li tmur magħha, ġifieri jiena għandi kumpaniji waħda minnhom hija li tieħu is-saħħa mentali. Meta jiena bdejt nuża ChatGPT u ngħid isma' da jista' jagħmel xogħol qed nagħmel jiena u qed bdejt nipprova bdejt nara u naqra l-ewwel stat mentali tiegħi kien ups jien għamilt 10 snin nistudja u da irrispondini tajjeb daqsi aħjar ftit sekondi. Tajjeb, kont tgħid bħal Max, poġġejna bil-qiegħda u għedna isma' ir-realtà hija li iktar ma tkienet ma' Max għal-bidu iktar niftakar mort id-dar mit-tlejn ma norqolx għax kemm dom nitqalleb. Tajjeb, bagħad tisma' billi noqgħod tinkwita jiena din mhux ħadd inbidel.
Le di
Tad beda ma' Max qed tisma' din hija l-kumpanija tiegħi di kif naħdmu aħna. Allimni. Tajjeb, u beda jgħallimni u jgħid li x'naqra u nidħol f'labs u ma nafx kemm il-lab niżilt u kemm il-lab qed nilgħab magħha u bdejjem qed nitgħallem iktar. Illum il-ġurnata nemmen li qed nofru servizz aħjar u anka il-professjonisti tagħna qed jitgħallmu iktar.
Għax inti persuna ta' rida tajba. Inti persuna li għandek il-irdu nifqu. Nisajt l-aħħar ħaġa.
Tar il-ħin.
Ħaġa, għax inti jiena naqbel.
Messaġġ kull wieħed tajjeb. Ibda l-messaġġ tiegħek.
Mela, jiena naqbel miegħek all the way fuq il-kodba hekk, anke social media meta jiena naf nies illum jgħidu social media ħażina kisret kollox. Le, social media is a fantastic tool if you use it well. Inti jekk taqbad il-mobile tiegħi u meta tiftħu kif li fħassib tates looking cute u għanna videos fuq violence taf eżattament what I am feeding myself and what I'm feeding the algorithm. Imma jekk inti tiftaħ il-mobile tiegħi u ssib għandna fuq filosofija, fuq storja, fuq arti, allura it's how you use the technology. All I am saying is this. AI is great. I think it's the big leap forward. But I think we need to really look very deeply at all the permutations and the rate it's developing when compared to the rate that we develop. And we have to find a way to make them come together nicely, or else we're in for a lot of surprises.
Yes.
Max.
So, just to iterate on what he said, a lot of people do find meaning in their relationships, but in this society, which is very obviously a bit more on the capitalistic side, a lot of people find meaning in their work, in their productivity, how much they produce, how much they're worth in that tribe that is the office. So I think it's a split. The future, I mean, to me, would look like working less hours for the same pay, and eventually, and that's what they're discussing as well, having a concept of the UBI, which is the universal basic income. So if people are going to start working less, the government should subsidize people to have a basic salary to sustain themselves. So from a physiological perspective, it would be tackled this way. But what you said is very important. Is the issue, the psychological perspective, because we're growing. So it's easy to take care of the physiological needs, but the psychological needs during the past purpose. And imagine if you really, okay, you're an artisan, okay, working technology, which is basically what a creative person using technology is. You're creating something that didn't exist. It's your baby, and you wake up one day, you're proud of your work, and you see a machine doing better work than you, and you feel obsolete. Now, if you're a person that your meaning is with your family, your kids, your social life, it's okay. I said, okay,
100%.
More time to dedicate to them. But all the rest of the population will feel like, and now what am I?
Exactly.
If all my life was focused on me producing in this kind of society. So there is the good and the bad. There's never going to be a split. We're in the perfect gray area at the moment. We just need to look at the past and the history of evolution and technology, because there were so many industrial revolutions, and learn from the past, obviously. But this time is not going to be like the past. Exactly. It's going to be exponentially faster.
Exactly. That's that's the whole thing.
It's like fire to light bulb.
Exactly.
So
we need to weigh and observe.
Matthew, kienet diskussjoni interessanti ħafna l-ħintar.
Jena dik l-unika dispjaċi li għandi, guys. This should have been longer. I love it. I love it.
Fuq dak il-diskussjoni.
Jena lija bħal kull bidla oħra tiġri fuq ħajtek, tajjeb u fuq hekk innifsek. Hawnhekk għandek ċans kun taf x'inhu ġej Tajjeb, tkellem ma' nies li jifmu f'da suġġett, tallem, anke jekk għandek kumpanija u qed tisma' u qed tisma' jiena x'ħan nagħmel, tallem kif tista' tadatta għal dak li qed jiġri, flok toqgħod tirreżisti u tevita biex ma tħoss dak il-biża'. Ħoss dak il-biża'. Għamel pjan kif inti ħadadatta għal dak li qed tagħmel u għamlu. Għax tibża jew le, xorta ħajġi li għandu jiġri, mela ħjar tkun iktar aware, titgħallem fuq u titgħallem tibni anka dik ir-resilienza u dik l-antifragility fik innifsek biex inti tadatta għal dak li ġej.
Fuq dik, grazzi Carlos, grazzi Max, grazzi l-min għat jismana u koll, naħseb li kienet interessanti ħafna. Anka bħal per eżempju f-suġġett menix inti zdaqsek, imma ħassajta bħala diskussjoni interessanti ħafna.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Tal-istadina, grazzi ħafna.
Cheers.